Now to an I-Team exclusive. We get answers after an off-duty nurse found a woman with no pulse lying outside of the doors of a St. Luke's emergency room.
This just feet from the entrance. The nurse and the woman's son both say they couldn't get any help. I-Team reporter Jessica McMaster got answers as to why.
Non-breather, St. Luke's Hospital, 100 Northeast St. Luke's Boulevard.
Minute after minute after minute, and we sent about 3 people inside to show them that it's urgent.
In an emergency, every second counts.
She had stomach pain and vomiting, and by the hour, the vomiting kept increasing.
In late August, Donald Holcomb rushed his mom, Jennifer Holcomb, to the hospital.
Drove like heck all the way to St. Luke's East.
When Holcomb arrived, he says his mom was already unresponsive, and there wasn't room for him to park under the overhang near the emergency room entrance.
So I parked in the emergency parking lot and tried to carry her.
But he wasn't able to get his mom to the doors.
So I just kind of had to lay her there on the sidewalk.
And I got out of my car to go run into the patient to check her pulse, and she had no pulse.
An off-duty emergency room nurse who works at a different hospital and doesn't want to be identified began CPR on Jennifer. Quick intervention, a key factor for survival.
For somebody who doesn't have a pulse, minutes, that means it's a life or death situation.
While the nurse is trained for emergency situations, he wasn't prepared for what he says happened after someone else nearby ran inside the hospital for help.
They told him inside, you need to call 911. And I was just puzzled, like 911, I'm in front of you, 911, and wait for an ambulance.
The nurse says a St. Luke's employee who happened to be outside stepped in to assist in performing chest compressions on Jennifer. He says that employee also sent someone inside for help.
And she yelled at him. She said, go in there and yell at people and get me somebody in here. Even after that, nobody showed up.
The nurse says first aid wasn't enough. They needed an AED and other life-saving equipment, all just feet away.
And then you look, and then you look, and then nobody, not a single soul showed up.
After several minutes of trying to get help from emergency room staff, the nurse says they gave up and called 911.
Both units en route. It's going to be in the parking lot of St. Luke. A female collapse and fires en route, non-breather.
The I-Team obtained the dispatch recording. The first call came in at 9:52 a.m.
Where's the person at St. Luke's?
And they said right in front of the ER.
The nurse we spoke with says help arrived 7 to 10 minutes after he first began CPR.
When you get there, you expect to get help immediately, not sit there and hope to God someone comes out and helps her.
Jennifer, an accountant, a mom who Holcomb refers to as caring, helpful, always happy, died the next day.
And 9:27 a.m. was her last breath.
Something has to be done. So there's a miscommunication between the person that got the information that somebody needed help outside, and to get that information to the inside.
Despite several attempts by the I-Team, St. Luke's East would not speak with us on camera. However, a spokesperson tells us the hospital follows standards put in place by Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services that state staff should call 911 for anyone experiencing distress outside the hospital, including in hospital parking lots. The spokesperson also says while it may seem counterintuitive to call 911 when help is so close by, pulling ER staff puts patients inside at risk.
If I had to call 911 just to get a stretcher to the car, I should have just stayed home at that point.
We checked with other hospitals in the area about their protocols when it comes to this type of situation. University of Kansas Health System says they will send staff from the emergency room to the parking lot or even the garage if there's a patient out there in need of help. In Lee Summit, I'm investigator Jessica McMaster, 41 Action News.
Donald Holcomb says his mom died from a heart condition. Family members say they may hire an attorney. Now, you may be wondering when to drive to the hospital and when's a good time to dial 911. The American College of Emergency Physicians suggests calling 911 if the person's condition appears life-threatening. The person's condition could worsen and become life-threatening on the way to the hospital. Moving the person could cause further harm or injury. The person needs the skills or equipment used by paramedics or emergency medical technicians. Driving would cause significant delay in getting to the hospital.